Am I the donkey for not cooking fancier meals? I'm the only one who cooks in our house. It's just four of us: my husband, me, and my daughter, and little brother. My husband is 27 and I'm 25. My husband barely knows how to make eggs, even though I've tried to talk to him constantly about learning how to cook. My daughter and brother are still in elementary school, so they'll only help me cook. The responsibility falls on me, and it's honestly exhausting. So I just set up a system in my head. It's easy. For breakfast, it's just something like eggs or cereal. Lunch is some sort of sandwich, burger, or leftovers. Dinner is the meal I usually plan, but I have like 10 dishes I repeat. Sometimes I'll go off, especially Sunday, but generally I stay because it's easier for me mentally. Well, one day I made just pasta alfredo with chicken, and as we were eating, my husband mentions that it would be nice if I made fancier dishes. I asked him what he meant, and he explained he wants me to change things up, add some more meat dishes and variety. Next time, we went out shopping and I was putting ingredients I don't usually buy into the cart. As the ingredients started piling up, my husband was getting all puffy and upset. We got to the meat aisle and I started picking out beef, and that's when my husband lost it and started taking things out of the cart, saying that we can't afford my fancy living. I blinked at him and tried to explain that he was the one who asked for variety and different dishes, so I'm buying different ingredients. He rolled his eyes and told me that I'm being dramatic. I just let him do his thing, taking out most of the ingredients out. The next week, I made the same dishes because that's all I had ingredients for. A week passed and my husband was all pouting that I made fried rice again and that he's sick of chicken. When I pointed out that he took out all the beef out of our cart, he blew up on me again and said I'm being a donkey because he doesn't know how to cook. Am I the donkey? Comment 1. Not the donkey. I would stop cooking for His Grace, the Duke of Minimum Effort, for a while, possibly forever. Just feed yourself and your kids. Your foods aren't good enough for Sir Requireth All, so why bother? Reginald Expectation III can learn to cook for himself unless he is mentally impaired somehow. Tell him that you are very excited to taste his beef Wellington and nicely seared halibuts. I absolutely despise people who are about as useful as a handful of dirt, yet act all entitled on people who take care of them. Not the donkey, not the donkey, not the donkey. The absolute gall. Comment 2. How can he not know if you don't buy beef, you can't cook with it? Knowing how to cook isn't some magic where you can turn chicken into beef, peas into asparagus, pasta into caviar. Comment 3. It's irrational and is a mild form of abuse. She has no way to be right in his eyes, and he's got every right to be mad, allegedly. It's poo-poo, and a humongous red flag. Comment 4. My dad used to complain to my mom that she was spending too much money on groceries. She was the one who cooked, so of course she bought the groceries she'd need as well. So she challenged him to do all this planning and executing 1 week. He spent much more and made less tastier meals. Turns out a lot of his spendings went towards snacks and treats for himself, so he stayed quiet after. Comment 5. My dad complained about the same thing to my mom. She handed him the grocery money and told him to do better. He came home having spent twice as much as her and raised her grocery allowance. Comment 6. Not the donkey. The next time he talks, drop the joy of cooking in his lap. And the next, every single time, he can learn to cook or he can shut his mouth. Comment 7. Stop cooking for him at all. Tell him he can do the shopping and meal planning. Comment 8. Not the donkey. If he wants fancier meals, he needs to provide a fancier budget. Comment 9. Not the donkey. I'm sorry, but does your husband have a learning disability? I am seriously asking because it sounds like he is not comprehending what he did. If he did understand, then he's a complete donkey. I wouldn't put up with that poo-poo. Comment 10. How does he expect you to make different food with the same materials? Not the donkey. Comment 11. Not the donkey. Your husband is a big one, though. No idea why you allow for that? Hope your daughter and brother don't grow up to be like that. Comment 12. Not the donkey. He can have a PB&J for a week and cultivate some gratitude. Comment 13. Not the donkey. I think this is weaponized incompetence. Story 2. Is it fair for me, 32 male, to reach out to my ex, 35 female, before I die? Note: a couple weeks ago, I posted this on another relationship subreddit, but I think it was removed quickly because it involved a breakup. TLDR: I am looking for advice/input on whether it would be fair to reach out to an ex. We broke up due to my job and my lack of energy before I die of cancer. I have stage 4 pancreatic cancer. I've mostly come to terms with the fact I am likely to die from said cancer, and somewhat soon. And yes, I know I should be fighting, and I am still in treatment. However, based on what my doctors say and discounting any miracle developments in medicine, I don't think I have all that much longer. A bummer, to be sure. That being said, I am also a sentimental and regret-filled human being, and I can't help but wonder if there's any catharsis to be had in reconnecting with an ex of mine. This ex is not my most recent girlfriend, or the one I was with the longest, but she was the only one I ever thought I could live the rest of my life with. We met at a very inopportune time while very drunk and lonely at a birthday party of a mutual friend. I had just taken on a bunch more work and was hitting my stride as an attorney. She was already settled into her job as a vet tech and looking to settle down into a healthy relationship. We had a very loving but troubled relationship for a little less than 2 years, which ended about a year and a half ago. As my workload got increasingly full, it became more and more apparent that I was not what she needed. I would never be able to be the supportive, attentive partner when I was constantly stressing about my own work or traveling for depositions. I knew this, but rather than being an adult and addressing the fact head on, I acted like everything would be fine. She was tired of me not having enough energy to do the bare minimum for our relationship. Even my adult drive had fallen through the floor during the worst weeks, just from the sheer stress and anxiety. Despite her attempts to coax me into attending therapy, I dismissed the idea as I didn't have the time. It seemed true at the time, but looking back now, it was bull poo-poo. Rightfully recognizing that I was not putting the amount of work necessary into the relationship, she laid out an ultimatum. Either I devote more time/energy to self-care and the relationship, or she'd have to leave. I told her I didn't think I could devote any more of myself to anything but work. I considered myself in survival mode while I paid off the most predatory of my student loan debt. She didn't like my answer, but we agreed to go our separate ways. We talked a few times after that, mostly around our birthdays and holidays. Looking back, not investing in that relationship is my biggest regret. The ones that came after that seemed hollow. I didn't think I ever loved someone the way I loved her. I want to let her know that and maybe reconnect for these last few months. I also recognize that is a very selfish impulse. I'm looking for input here. What would you do in my place? In hers, would you want to know? Edit. Because I was a little bit vague about my intentions, I wouldn't want to do anything but reach out and let her know how much the relationship meant to me and how much I regret letting it break down. I wouldn't expect her to come see me or keep regular contact. I've since moved back in with my parents in another state while I was in treatment, so I don't think it would be plausible to strike up a relationship again, and I don't expect to. Comment 1. As you still have contact through texts, I would give her the information through text. Inform her about your situation and say that you want to thank her for the relationship and that you regret how it went, but that you want to inform her and say goodbye. Wish her well. Through the reaction unfolds what will unfold. She can choose then what to do. Just a text back, call, or come by. Don't ask for anything, just say goodbye. Comment 2. Had an ex recently pass away unexpectedly, affected me more than I expected. You still have time to say your final words. Comment 3. You have nothing to lose at this point, and if you were my ex, I think I'd want to hear from you. I reached out to an ex when my dog unexpectedly passed away because he loved her too, and they spent a lot of time together. I felt he deserved to know, and it was nice to share her memory with someone who loved her too. I don't think it's out of pocket to reconnect, if only to say I regret what happened, and I wish things had worked out differently. I'm sorry about your diagnosis, OP. I hope you can make the rest of your time meaningful in a way that gives you peace. Comment 4. She texted you out of the blue to wish you well. She still holds you warmly in her heart. She absolutely would want to reach out to say goodbye. Comment 5. 100% do it. As someone else stated, don't do it with the intention of trying to become romantic again. That's selfish. But you can let her know how you feel and that you appreciated your time with her or something along those lines. It will give you peace. For her, either she really doesn't care about you anymore and it won't affect her much, or she also has some dormant feelings there and she will appreciate it more than finding out weeks or months later you just died without a goodbye. Comment 6. Do it. Comment 7. Yes, do it. Comment 8. I'm so sorry. I think you should do it. Let the love out that you couldn't fully access because of the survival mode. We take nothing with us from this life, but we can leave our love behind for others. It's our greatest legacy and all that ever matters in the end. Comment 9. What do you know about her current situation? Is she in a relationship or something of that sort? Children? It's not selfish to put out feelers to your mutuals, but you don't want to come crashing into her life for your own comfort. Which brings me to the next thought. I'm so sorry you are dealing with this and that your time with us might not be as long as it should be. Please place a lot of energy into your self-care, into healing relationships with people who are currently in your life, like your friends and family. Make the most of the people who will be hurt the most when you're gone. Old girlfriends will move on no matter your diagnosis, but your family will not, or at least not in the same way. Ooh, OP responded. My understanding is she's single, or at least she's not making it widely known she's with anybody else. We're still mutuals on a few forms of social media. As for how long it's been, she wished me a happy birthday via a text a little bit after I got my diagnosis, but I didn't tell her anything but thanks, hope you're doing well, etc. at the time. Only my parents and a few close friends know about my diagnosis, and I don't think any of our mutual friends know. Comment 10. My wife got a call from her ex before he died. I was okay with it. At the end of the day, it is a human, and if she is willing to take the call, I don't see any harm. Maybe naive from me, but I hope he rests in peace. Comment 11. I would reach out. Resolution is a powerful thing. Comment 12. If I was the girl, I'd welcome the text/call. Comment 13. Offer her closure before you go. Apologize for how you treated her and let her know that you didn't want to leave this earth without validating her feelings or letting her know that you regret your behavior. Wish her well, but be clear you don't have any expectations of further contact. Comment 14. Absolutely. My ex just passed away and had been sick. He had time to reach out, but didn't. I haven't slept since I found out he passed away. It has wrecked my life and we broke up 17 years ago. I'm married with 2 kids now, but his death has absolutely unraveled me because all the things we didn't get to say. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye!